Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. Hopefully, you had a great week, uh, or made the best of it, I guess. And yeah, so this week I guess I was in more in a world building mood, so to speak, and I ended up creating an area here in the game that we were looking at last week. Playing around with that roundabout, and it felt kind of a little barren. Well, we had the kind of the grocery store and like the gas station, and one of the things that I had a level in place and I didn't add was kind of just like a little bit of a like warehouse area here that will be there along with something that I've shown before, probably is this little area of like a substation type of thing, where the power would come from the dam back there and just supply power to the town. But the other thing that I was working this week is this. So, and it still looks a little bit messy, but just creating a little bit of a populated, I wouldn't call it a downtown, but just a few buildings around to round up this area. It's, like the gas station you've seen before, but I've made some constructions, I would say, kind of these facades buildings, and I actually managed to use this, which is from the age of CryEngine, this building, this kind of apartment building here, and I've created a couple of just kind of um, your standard square size type building here and there just to kind of fill in the area. And of course, we have the laundromat over here towards the end of town. I'm still debating whether to place it between like have a building that rounds up the end of town here for this one, and then the laundromat would be back there. I'm still debating on that placement. And there's I was playing around with some of adding some of the sidewalks around here, and of course, some of these will have, editable interiors. And let's quickly jump into game mode and I'll show you at least one of them. Let's see, we'll keep the lighting as is. I was thinking about changing it to sunset. We'll see how this looks. It might be a little bit more, wouldn't call it dramatic, but it looks pretty nice at sunset. And yeah, let's jump into game mode and I'll show you what I mean as far as like the interiors go. And that's probably something that we'll do today, just finishing off the interior for this location. And as soon as this goes into game mode, there it goes. Yeah, actually it looks pretty nice um, during sunset. It's not as much light coming in as I would like, but and you'll kind of hear like not sure if you can hear the background, like the noise, yeah, exterior sounds. But yeah, I think I might like the way it was before, or I mean with just the daytime lighting. And yeah, that's kind of how the interior looks. Let's take a look. I think it might look a little bit better when this is set to daylight. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. And the plan would be to continue with building out this interior. We'll jump into Blender to play around with some of these kind of these exterior building facades that I have. Like this one is the one that we're currently in. I've tried to adapt the exterior to match the interior when it comes to the windows, and that's how, like right now, if we were to step outside, it's kind of you know, there's no uh, like trickery, not trickery, but like the transition from the outside to the inside is not it matches at least as close as possible, right? Like for example, there's going to be like uh, this part of the building that kind of steps out a little bit, and so that one will maybe be a little bit of I'll try and fake that as best as I can. And yeah, let's um, let's get to it and start modifying this building. And the goal, what I'm hoping for is like right now the building is completely navigable. So like let's jump back into game mode real quick. There we go. So yeah, right now you can kind of go around the building and downstairs, and you can see like this is the this is the window from the exterior section where that needs to be fixed. And but yeah, you can go down the stairs and outside. I was testing around with the flashlight as well for interiors. Seems to be looking quite alright. I mean, there's kind of the nice bounce lighting around that works out pretty well. And yeah, just your kind of not completely run down apartment, but there's some stuff peeling off. This was an awesome asset pack, though it's on the stylized side if you were to use it. Though the walls themselves, they lend themselves pretty well, with trim at the top and everything else. And if there's like some wear that could be used for some of this wallpaper, peeling off, and the texture for the wallpaper could be potentially changed to add a little bit more. But that's that's not quite there just yet. Okay, so with that said, let's get into it. What I'm hoping to do is finish off this building because if you look at it from the outside, it's still in pieces, not in pieces, but it's not quite there yet. And of course, hopefully, um, furnish, add some more things. I just added kind of some basic stuff to the inside of the apartment, but add some additional pieces. Okay. And yeah, with that said, I think one thing that I might need to do is this is really it seems to with the stairs the way they are, it's really navigable, and from a player collision standpoint as well. So I'm going to adapt the building a little bit just so that it matches where these walls are. I need to just extend it out a little bit further. And also the other thing is um, the original package came with these. Let's actually go into edit mode because this is its own little level, and so it came already with two windows put together, but that doesn't really match the spacing between these windows out here. So I'm just going to create that asset like I did because I had to create this asset separately anyways from what the original developer had to match what the size of my exterior windows are. Hey, Julio, salut, salut. Welcome. Bienvenue. And yeah, let's get to it. So it's going to be quite a bit of going back and forth between Blender and the engine. So bear with me. All right. Well, first of all, I'm just going to clean this up here because, like I said, I need to match it. And these are also, you can see this is what I meant. This is it's not necessarily what I really like as far as the kind of the Windows setup. So that's the outside. This is the inside. But the scale is just about right for everything else. So that's why I wanted to keep on using these. But okay, so this is my Blender building. These are the exterior walls. And like I said, the way I have this, the way that I'm planning this is since everything that's this interior level is going to have the property for its runtime grid set up to be a low distance. So basically, it's not going to try and load these assets until the player is really close. And then the exteriors are going to have a farther distance because they're buildings and they need to be seen from the distance. Okay, let's see. So in here, what else I wanted to clean up? Some of these big kind of wall pieces. I think I can make use of this one. This one can be moved in a little bit. Oops, that's a little too big. A little bit closer to here. I'm also trying to make sure that they're not sticking outside the walls like, like that. All right. So that's that there. Let's see. Did I take it a little? I think I might have taken it a little bit too far. Let's see. Is this gonna be sticking outside? Yes, it is. So let's see if we can fake that a little bit. And these little posts are very useful for that kind of stuff. There we go. So hopefully that fixed. It's still, oh yeah, this is the little post here. It's still sticking out, so I can like pull it in a little bit. There we go. Another thing that I've noticed with placing some of these assets in like corners and stuff, it also helps a little bit with the light bleeding sometimes, and I'm all for that. All right, and this one could be set right here, like so. And now let's create the interior wall section for when we have like this kind of double windows, or in this case, it's basically just like these over here. But so I've kind of separated these with these posts, but I might want to have a mesh that for when these two windows are across like that. And there's also a setup in because these buildings are kind of recycled one into another and just added some different shapes to them. If you see like this building here is identical, well, sort of to this, it's got like the front piece over here, but it's got this thing sticking out a little bit, so it's a little bit bigger just to fit the interior in it. And yeah, yeah, so for example, when we're going to be in the staircase, let's see, towards the end of the building here, I thought I had, or actually I didn't see like this section here. I need to close that up, but we're going to have some windows over here as well, and hopefully letting some more light in, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, let's jump back to Blender. And yeah, so this week was a bunch of modeling some of these buildings. All right, so this one's the interior wall that fits this size of window. And what I'm going to try and do is create something like this for these that are tight together, and then for two of these that are kind of split apart. Ghost art, yeah, definitely. That's the other option, the light cascade. And I haven't seen too much light bleeding. I'm still experimenting with some of the interior lighting, but yeah, definitely the other thing to that's the other thing to do. And thank you so much for mentioning for anybody else. All right, so this one, and I might actually create for all three, just one section of mesh. All right, so I'm just going to try and position it best as I can to make sure the other ones are. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so let's duplicate these. So these might be a little bit easier because they're like farther apart than a whole width of one of these. And it might help when joining these pieces together. Let's see, hopefully it's covering it pretty good. Okay. And now, and this is what I like. Sometimes you won't get these cleaned meshes from some developers, but this particular asset, this particular package is pretty well made. Let's see, hopefully I'm not gonna mess up any normals by joining these together. Actually, oh yeah, they can't really be joined together anyways. All right, so the way I like to do this is usually, you have two of these pieces, and well, I'm guessing in this case, since it's the really close together, I could just do a little bit of this. And actually, let me turn on screencast just in case anybody's interested in some of my shortcuts. Now for the walls, I mean the trim, this trim might not be as visible where some of these joints might happen, but I think with the wall itself, there might be a visible if there's like a line going across. That's so for that, let's see, how do we want to do this? I think I think I might just do it the same, and then I'm gonna do another unwrap of this. All right, so now with the wall, just gonna project it from view and scale it up. I'm gonna try and match what's on my other, what's on this one. So for this one, I'm gonna try and do it like, oh yeah, I guess it's fitting from top to bottom. That's perfect. So that's what I'm gonna try and have here. And just trying to get it as close as possible. All right, let's export this. And I'm gonna choose maybe one of these points here as my pivot. So now let me see where I want to import it. Yeah, so the package is actually called Seaside Town that has these nice meshes going for that. And also it has this already kind of pre-built area, and the collisions are actually really nice. And that's another thing that I like. Also the staircase is a really good angle for the player to walk on. All right, so let's export this section of windows, and let's see exactly where this whole apartment interior window. All right, so I'm exporting it right now. Bear with me for a second. Let's see. Okay. Hey, David. Salud, salud. Welcome, welcome. And now let's bring that in here. See how that's gonna look. Let me see, where did I export it? It's in here. There it is. All right, here is our newly created window. So we have the trim. Let's apply that. And then we have the stucco in this case, which could be some wallpaper. Maybe we'll try some of that out, see how it looks. And let's place that over here with these ones. And 180, there it is. So now we just need to match these, for the height first. That seems to be that I placed it a little bit lower. And then to match the windows themselves. Hey Beanos, welcome, welcome. Did I mess anything up with some positioning of this? That one is a little bit higher. Two, there we go. I guess I was looking at the floor and some of the other ones that might not match perfectly. Oh yeah, this one, these ones were, this wall was a little lower. So that's why it kind of threw me off a little bit. There we go. So now let's try this and see how this looks. Okay, that's better. And this pillar, can we replace it with a piece of wall? Yeah, actually that works pretty good. I don't think it's gonna stick out of the wall. That's good. Let's see if we can at least arrange it over here. Let's see, this one is on the x-axis at 95. Let's try and do a 95. There, that should be better, I would think. Oh yeah, that's it's a slightly lower. And this is 678. Trying to keep things on the grid as best as I can. It doesn't always work out, but there we go. So now we have that window there. And let's add some, this is another thing that I need to consider is the flooring, right? Because we have some pieces of flooring that might not extend properly with the building. Luckily, some of these do. And I'm gonna need to put something just like a border between these, from like a, I wouldn't say like a design standpoint, just between these two spaces. So let me find that piece of, if I recall what I named it. It's always difficult when you trying to put together a bunch of pieces that you've worked on in the past. That doesn't really work out, but it could actually. There we go. One of those, like a threshold, I think it's what it's called. Between two surfaces, something like that. So I'm going to try to put it on a higher number for the grid here. They're pretty subtle. All right, well, let's continue with the roof. And actually for that, hey Miles, welcome, welcome. I have a bunch of, some of this stuff here that's already used in a different level, so we can make use of this one as well for this tar roof. I'm still debating whether to add another floor to it, which could be kind of cool. The only thing is this kind of space here. And this is, kind of the part where it's always difficult to gauge some of these. This could be like a closet or something, like a utility room, because there's not a lot of space left in here. And this one, I guess, could be like a bathroom or something. I could see like maybe the kind of the kitchen area in this corner here, and then this being like the bedroom area, and with the bathroom on this side. Let's see how that plays out. Hey Gitish, welcome, welcome. Yeah, well, it's if you're referring to like these kind of lines and all that, and these ones over here, I've noticed that when you edit a level inside of a world partition setup, because if I was to, for example, commit the changes for this level, see that doesn't show up anymore. If that's what you were referring to. So yeah, there we go. And these ones seem to match pretty well, though not quite perfectly, but they're pretty good. Outside to inside. Also, I'm thinking as far as the roof, especially when it comes to this, I'm probably going to handle that the from the actual mesh in Blender. So I'm gonna try and get this out of the way. And in here, since this one doesn't have any roof to speak of, and of course, oh, this is something I didn't notice yet. I need to fix this section here. Hey, doing all right, doing all right. How are you doing? Great to have you. Hey, Miles, you help me when you have time for that thing. When I want to raise the camera so that the camera follows the. Yeah, I can definitely try. It's probably going to be either later on today or tomorrow, because after the stream I need to go take care of some like grocery shopping and stuff like that. All right, so I'm gonna try to kind of break apart some of this top trim that I have here, and we'll try to move this onto the new position of the building. Oops, that one's actually connected there. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good, Miles. All right, well, that one's in place. Let me see how far out is this getting. Maybe to about there. There we go. Quick way of creating this kind of corniche um, top trim. I'm not sure exactly what you would call it. I think it's called a corniche, if I'm not mistaken. Like the actual construction term for it. At least I think. Hey, at least there. Cornice, yeah, cornice, that's it. I wasn't sure if it's like cornice or corniche with like the CH at the end, but whoops. Well, thank God for undo. What would we do without it? All right, and then this one here, I'm just gonna extend out that way. Oh, nice. And I think this one, yeah, that one's kind of, it might just gonna delete these and let's clean this up here. And for now, just gonna go like this. I need to adjust this one to come as kind of as close as possible to the wall because I don't want it to kind of protrude inside of the apartment. So I'm gonna select these like this. So that part there, then this one here. It needs to go a little further, just like that. Okay, that's better. Let's take a quick peek at what we have for now. And also let me, since I'm here, I'm just gonna try to adjust these kind of support. They're not necessarily support uh, poles, but they're like this kind of edging or like where the siding comes together. It's that kind of corner joint that overlaps it. So it's kind of like this, but it's just realized that it's a little too big, especially for this kind of siding material. And it used to be a rectangle, but through many iterations, it turned into something else. I'm going to use this one as a test to see where that scale is. And since we're here, let's also try and add the, I'm going to keep the roof and add it afterwards because it's probably going to mess up the materials and I really don't want to start reassigning all materials to this building. And this is number 5. Experimented with geometry script within UV. I actually haven't. I've just gone, kind of done your regular block out to place some shapes around the level, just like squares and stuff. And after that, I just started placing these buildings in place, based on but then, of course, I have to adjust to the scale of the interiors versus the exteriors. Most of them are probably not going to be enterable, but some will. And even at that point, it's not going to be like every single square foot of the building is enterable. So that way I can, mess around with like, this door here leads to, is it an apartment? You don't really know because you can't enter it. But yeah. So let's see. Ghost Arts, have you tried Blender for to Unreal plugin? I have, and it's actually really useful. I haven't tried it for like complex type of things. Like I would say I've tried it for skeletons, which work. I've tried it for single assets, which work. But now in this one, as you can see, I have like a ton of layers, and I'm not sure how messy that's gonna turn out. So I'd rather just do the FBX export and import, which they're probably uh, I could probably spend the time to try that out, but I'm not entirely sure how easy it's going to be. So for now, um, Yeah. Okay, so that looks pretty good for scale, I think. All right. Well, let's get back into. I'm gonna commit the changes for this, and we'll go back into this level and edit this one. But yeah, I've actually also chatted with the developer for that plugin, and he was extremely helpful. I was able to help him QA some things one time, but yeah, I haven't really used it as much for stuff like this. All right. Well, let's see if this wall section has anything. Interesting. It doesn't have a smaller piece that could have like another door. So I might need to make some edits to that as well, which yeah, I think this is looks like this is the only. Well, in that case, let's edit some things made by other people. And what I want to do is actually export this and cut it back a little bit. So let me see, where did I put that? I'm running out of layers. All right, so right in here, let's import this, well, medium. There it is. And what I wanted to turn this into is actually just a small section of the wall with the door. Because you can see the way they did it is uh, like this big piece of wall that's it's only one such section, and I can't really, adjust to it so easily. So that's why I wanna change it so that it's gonna be hopefully just a smaller piece. And I'm wondering if I can try doing this with just booleans. Let's give it a shot. That way I can just adjust where the boolean goes. So something like that is what I'm going for. Oops, I think it's the other way around, like this. Sometimes I don't get it why it just adds this extra little piece in here. It's truly odd. Yeah, see, like it does that. I'm not sure why would it do that. Anyways, at least for scale, to try it out, it should be fine, even though there's the added vertices that can be cleaned up afterwards. The only thing, and I'm kind of bothered by it a little bit, is that I'm not sure if it's centered. So let me try and do this. At least try to get it as close. I'm trying to find a point here to move these shapes from. All right, so let's see. It's going to be at what? 1 meter? Okay, we can try that. Let's see. And now it added extra vertices. I don't get this. Is it the Boolean that is trying to... Yeah, it's a difference. Hmm. Okay, well I'm gonna try like this and see at least for the size how that looks. And let me see, what's the name of this? I guess it doesn't really have a proper name. So I'm just gonna call it wall apartment interior door. Not or, but door. All right, let's try and bring this in and see how it looks. Okay, that's definitely better. I think it might just work. It's not sticking out of the wall. You can actually push it even further. Oh, that's really good. And it luck for some kind of dumb luck, I would say maybe, they actually um snap together. Okay, I'll take that. But I need to fix the textures or the materials. So we have the stucco, and that's not really the right one. And then the trim and the trim. There we go. Okay, so now we have two doors, and that could potentially be a bathroom, and it actually works pretty well with the interior over here. And we can actually try adding some bathroom related items in here, see how that's going to turn out. Of course, we need the floor, and this is where I think there might be a little bit of need for some some other shapes. I know I've actually have a few made a while back, so I think these might come in handy. Let's take a look. Take a quick look at this. Alistair Morgan, would you mind explaining your approach to interaction with repeated objects, door, windows, drawers, etc.? Well, it's the way I have it set up is there's like I think the main ways to do it, it's either through like a line trace. So you basically you'd be looking at the object itself, and I think so the way I do it is I do a line trace and a dot product. So that way, depending on the item, I can set that dot product to a different value. So say for example, I'm interacting with a door, right? I don't necessarily want the player to look right where the handle is. I just want the player to look in the general direction of the handle, so like this big area around it. And that's why I do the dot product as well to kind of get um, a value for the angle that I'm looking at. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's how I'm handling my interactions. Let me know if you if that's if that if that was confusing, or I know sometimes I'm not doing the best explanations for stuff. Oh, those actually worked out pretty good. I'm surprised. And now what I need to do is I think this one's gonna be good like this. I'm just gonna create a duplicate and I'm gonna apply the Boolean here. Let's clean up these, however these get created. And if you're curious, I can show you how some of the interactions work in my game, and hopefully that will give you an idea as well. Yeah, let me know. Right. Okay. So I have this, and now can probably use this little mesh here to place some kind of tile. Let's see, what do I have available for tiles? And tiles. And wow, they're all ugly. Really? No good tiles? Hey, player Victor, welcome. Alistair, I'm planning on doing component based on out hit interface check. Oh, I see, I see. Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense as well. That's totally fine. Hmm. You know, there's so many ways that things can get done, and I'm guessing, you know, that's the cool thing about game development, you know. It's in the end, whatever you do is going to be cool. So, there we go, something like that. Oh, I see, I see. Um, so I have the way it all started, I start from a master class for like an interactable object, which has everything as far as where to look, where the player would look. So for example, let me highlight with the door, right? So let me place a door. It might not be the prettiest door. Actually, it could be because we have this cool little looking door here. So let me place a door actor. Where and when to draw the line as to what the parent contains. Yeah, oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Well, uh, but you can have, you know, you can have, I'm not sure if that's such a term, but you can have grandparents and grandparents. You know, that's one of the setups that I have, where you have the basic interactable object that has like a, you know, a sphere so that it knows that the player is in within reach so that the player can start doing the line trace. Um, it has kind of the basic interface implementations so that when you interact with it, it's going to send out a notification that, okay, I need to spin or I need to open, I need to, the drawer needs to be to um, to move. And in this case, like I have a door, but then off of that, I could have a door for the like a safe door, you know. And in my case, so I'm just showing you what I do for my stuff here. Um, the door itself it has its all properties, it can be lock pickable, it can be locked, and it's got the placement of where the dot product should happen. So in the case of the door, where the handle would be. And some other minor things, like an icon if I need to, if I have the icon for the interaction. So let's use this one as an example because it's also good testing for myself because I haven't looked at this in a while and I'm not sure how sounds horrible, how broken it is. Um, so if you want to generally avoid using overlap events, um, that's a good question. I'm not sure if there is such a thing, to be honest. I mean, um, you would you would have to do a line trace, right? I'm guessing you can get it off of the off of what returns from the line trace, like the hit object, and have some details specific for like a door or specific for a drawer, you know? Actually, that's another thought. If you do the line trace and what comes back as the hit result, you set up some kind of a way to get the properties off of that object. But yeah, the way I set it up is the door itself has this sphere trace so that when you enter, um, and it also works for the icon. So if you have like actually, is that correct? Is that right? Yeah. Oh, so all those details in your Odoo master there. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Glad it was useful. Should the item also perform a line trace outwards towards any potential interactor? I don't think so. Um, the Yeah, I don't see a use for that. And there's also like the quest related stuff. So if this is an item that's related to any quests, I've also added that in. Mhm. And as you can see, I was playing around a lot with so this is the master, but then I have like this metal door, which I believe I can actually update the door. Okay. I need to clean these up, and so my apologies. These are there are uh, a ton of children that I went a little too overboard with. So let me try doing this one. I think this one is the one that I was playing or trying before a while back, and I think it was working, but yeah, my apologies if it doesn't. So in this case, let me adjust the location of the dot product so it's somewhere around here-ish, I would say. All right, and then the icon itself is that it kind of shows like that this is a door, or an interactable item. I'm hoping it's not gonna make any kind of weird, like the rotation itself. Let me see how that's gonna play out because like I said, I haven't looked at these in a while, And as it usually happens, things can get messed up. Or you change something else and whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, I'm just going to leave it in that place for now. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I do have a base interactable class. So if we were to look at this door, for example, and that this might not be it could be a good example, but it's a child of the interactable door master. Oh no no no, and no worries. This is totally one of the reasons that I do streaming as well. You know, one of them is promote my products. So like, comment, share, subscribe, uh, and um, and the other one is like, you know, people that join the stream and they might be interested in some things and they ask questions and the good thing is they ask me some questions and I also find bugs in my stuff, which is even better. And that's why I really enjoy doing it. All right, so for example, this metal door is a child of the door master, which at its point is also a child of this interactable item master. So this is like kind of the you know the forefather of our fathers. It's like the yeah the main one where everything stems from. It's just got basic interaction. But then when it comes to the door, you know, the door itself has a few you know, a few more things to consider, you know, like let me see what else. This is just an end overlap, so the door closes when you end the overlap, you know, it's not left open. Um, so the dot product, let me see, can I have it, is it in here? I don't think it's in here because the dot product is done by the player. So this one, what the master interactable does, it controls the HUD, so like it shows like a widget for what that object is, you know, like open door or you know closed door or whatever. And then it also controls, it does like some of the basic stuff for the overlap events. But then in the door itself, and let me see, I believe it was, am I doing it? Yeah, so the door itself does the door interactions, you know, for like, you know, open door, closed door, the door is locked, so it just does a little shimmy. But then when it comes to the dot product, I believe that one's, let me see if I recall correctly, it's done in my main character class because that's you know, the character is looking, right? And I can show you real quick how that looks. One second, if I can find that. The main character and best interactable or interactable, what was it? Let me see where this one's at. Bear with me for a quick minute here. Alright, so let's see, best interactable. Okay, so basically what happens is when you overlap with some of these items, there's there's an array that gets created because you might be overlapping with multiple. So let me along with the door, let me oops, I'm flying. Let me also add some other items in here. So maybe I'm just gonna add some weapons like pistol. Um, that's the interactable, and maybe like the magazine. So as you can see, they're both off of the base interactable class, right? So they might be really close to each other, right? Like, you know, the interaction overlap, they, you know, they're still, um, you know, they're overlapping each other. And let's see, just gonna jump into game mode here. and I'll show you what happens with that array. So you have that array of me. I'm going to overlap with these two objects, right? So they're gonna get added to that interactables. Oy, where did you go? Oh, that's not good. I guess that level loaded after my character was plopped in the game, which didn't happen the first time I ran it. But that's an interesting thing to consider. Let's see if. Oh well, in that case, I'm just gonna try and go the through the walls here. All right, so here's the door. As you can see, that overlap is what controls this thing showing, like open door, right? And as you can see, if I look up, it's not gonna tell me anything. And if I press E, nothing happening. I'm trying to interact, but there's nothing happening. But then if I look at around where my dot product interaction is, um, it's gonna work like this. And then when you come up to two items that overlap, as you can see, you're looking um, that dot product of each one of the items. Like right now, the character knows that it's got two overlapping, and overlapping actors is probably an oversimplification, but the player, let me see, where is he? So right here, oops, I don't want to do that because it's gonna freeze if I try to debug. But the interactables array, it's got these two objects added to itself at the moment because you overlapped with both of them, right? And then what I do is I calculate which one of these has a better dot product. And that's the one that I'm going to show the the interact text, and I'm going to make that the best interactable. So for me to pick up or to interact with. So overlapping actor with a lower delta for uh, yes, I think I'm reading that right, but you're on the right track. I think I'm trying to make sense of what you wrote. I'm not sure if it's too scientific for my level of understanding, but I think that what you're meaning is what I'm thinking, right? So as I was saying with the door itself, it's got that space where if I leave it, the door itself is going to close. And I'm not sure if I left it. Oh yeah, I think it's a little bit bigger space. Let me see. How big is it? I thought it was gonna. Oh, there it goes. I think it might be. Did I set it on the timer? Alistair, so hopefully that, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right, because I really love that name, Alistair. That sounds awesome. But I hope it made sense. Okay, so the door works. The collisions, I need to address them because you're kind of walking through stuff. Also, another thing when it comes to the doors, what I'm doing is like right now this door has no collisions, but what I'm doing is I'm disabling collisions when I'm opening the door so that way the player doesn't get pushed out of the way. So when the door is in movement, basically it's in a state of interacting, right? At that point, I am disabling collisions, so just so that you're not it doesn't push the player out of the way or just in that regards. No, actually, good question. Did I set it as timeline based? I think I might have. Um, Let me see. Where is it? Opening the door, closing door, opening door. Yes, yes. It's It's a timeline. But yeah, as you can see, when I'm opening it, I'm setting it to no collision. And again, everything is like these things are all inherited from the master class for interactable items. But and then I'm just adding things to it, like the door audio, um, the, um, the NPC overlap, so and the NPC overlap is that so whenever NPC is overlapping the door would open. So they won't get stuck, behind a door or something like that. So if there was, actually, that could be an interesting test. Let's check this out. Let me add an enemy in the level. Though I'm not sure if the door is gonna close right after them. Let's try it out. Actually, could be interesting. Let me add an enemy, though. Hmm. Yeah, I was trying to test that out. We've actually played around with it in a previous stream where the main character would get a couple of NPCs, friendly NPCs, to follow him and get into a car, and it would involve the door being, closing, but then opening when the NPCs overlap with the door. Your dot product component on the pawn, is it constant or adjusting with your crosshair? It is. No, it is adjusting with the crosshair. So it is doing. I believe it was doing a line trace. It's been a while since I looked at it. Um, Let me see. Where was that? Yeah, actually, well, it's based on the forward vector. So there you go. There's your answer. So it's based on the camera manager and then the forward vector. So it is not actually doing a line trace, which that's actually pretty good. I like that. I'm not sure why I don't like line traces too much, but there's like a lot of other line traces that I do, and yeah. Anyways, whoa, what? How did this guy ended up here? Through the floor? What are you doing? Let me see. Where did that come from? Oh, it's from this wall over here because it extends out. Who's the designer? Who built this? Yeah, so hopefully that helped. Wow, this house is still gonna need some TLC, but and I guess that's what's cool about game design. Like this week, I felt more like I need to finish off this town area, and I didn't do so much of the gameplay work and stuff. All right, well this one is here. Let's import this, and yeah, there we go. So that's fixed. And yeah, that's the hopefully the I'll definitely try for next week to figure out why the loading of the character before some of the other levels are streamed in. Hey Xai, you can create some tutorial about modeling some building in Blender and texturing it. Yeah, well, I think there's definitely some, you know, people out there that do it much better than I can, and probably to a higher standard, because I would not be like, hey, you know what, if you this is how you should be doing it if you want to get a job or in the industry or something. I think it's in my case, it's since it's everything is self-taught. Yeah, I mean, look at this building is far from perfect. It's a mess. Like I would not send this for a recruitment thing anyways. As far as, the scale is about right. I'm okay with the scale, but everything else, there's like there's joint like some vertices are not joined where they might be. There's too many materials. Like I have like I think 12 materials for this building, and they could probably go away with like six or seven. So that's definitely something to fix. Alistair, I saw it called out targets transform component. Would that be the overlapping mesh in your setup? Yes. Yeah. So that's if we were to look at where was it here? Um, Let me see. So, um, well, the dot product is done between the forward vector of my camera and then from the camera location to the dot product location. And that's why I'm just getting center of mass for that component. And yeah, so hopefully that helps. Yeah, it's from the Player Camera Manager. Yeah. Sai, it's okay, it's not perfect, but I see you are texturing different way than someone else. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing. Like in here, most of my texturing is done based on the UVs. Like for example, I have some textures that I've imported into Blender to be able to look at the UVs and be like, you know what, okay, I can see the scale is fine. The kind of the texel density is similar across like the beams and the walls and the windows and the top trim. And but I'm not creating like inside of the materials because that's part of Blender that I'm not very I wouldn't say fond of, but I'm not very comfortable with. And so that's why I'm just loading the image in here, and that's why. Alistair, it's the center of mass coming out of the overlapped actor array. Yeah, yeah. So the center of mass is coming out of the, let me see, we were looking at the metal door, right? So the metal door, and let me jump back into it because we're gonna have to do some edits anyways. So the the door itself has this little gizmo here, which is the location of the dot product. So if I want to move it somewhere else, like the interact point is at the center of it here, right? That it's going to do the dot product to that's going to be its center of mass, right? Yeah. So well, you see, that's why I like you to make a tutorial on this topic because everyone does it different. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's I know that's and that I think the main reason that I didn't really make a tutorial on it is there is so many ways people do it, and I'm not sure if at some point it all becomes noise. Like it's just I've learned how to do it from this guy, and then I've learned how to do it from the other guy. Yeah, it's good if you get to a point of, okay, you know what, this guy has a nice idea on this part, and this other guy has a nice idea on this other part. And, so that could, you combine those two. And I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I look at the different tutorials and I pick what's best from one of them. But for somebody that may be just beginning, it might be noisy to have that, I think. But I totally get what you're saying. I'm guessing if I had a bigger channel with a bigger following, okay, and I'd be like the kind of Andrew Price type expert or other Blender experts that could, I have enough experience in Blender that I know this is a good way to do it. And yeah, Alistair, Eureka, that's clever. Yeah, I'm happy you found it useful. Do you have that location for the dot product on? Yes, yes, I do. So for example, this we were looking at this pistol. I usually start from the center where the interactable mesh is because, these are small meshes. That's probably not a best example, but like for a bigger mesh, like the door, that's I want to be able to set this to somewhere. Like if I want the player to interact with this location or like to look at that location, that's why. Zenji, hey, welcome. Sorry, yo, what's going on? My brain meant while I see coding. Yeah, it's and that's why I keep saying this. That's the cool thing about game development, right? It's like coding. It's like, there's level design, there's like 3D modeling, there's texturing, there's audio, yeah, I don't think there's a discipline that involves more kind of disciplines, like, right? Yeah. So it's always fun to be able to do them all because I think if you just do one of them, it might get boring and it might take away from the experience. Um, that's my thought. Yeah, everyone does it differently and then someone gets lost. That's true, Sai. That's totally true. The only see the only thing when it comes to a tutorial about this is how would I structure it? Because the way I have this is like I've taken the windows, f- um, and see that's what's difficult. Um, the way I made this, like I've taken this trim out of, I'm not sure, like a marketplace package that I have. Then I've taken the windows out of that package as well. Then I've made the walls around it and added the windows from some other package. And that's why it's this is a Frankenstein right here. This is a total Frankenstein building. To me, in the end, the end result works, but I'm not sure if I don't think that's something to show. It's quick. I'll give. I mean, it's really quick because these are already UV unwrapped, textured. You don't have to do all of that. But I would say it's kid bashing right here. I think that's a term, right? People will use that. So this is kid bashing what I'm doing, and of course, with the added stuff of, okay, I'm gonna modify this wall and pull this wall here, and then add some decals and add some trim around the windows, some of this stuff that were not in the previous packages. Change some UV unwrap to match the siding or the bricks or other things. So yeah, that's the only thing with it. All right. Well, let me try and hopefully see if I can fix this roof, or at least the shading. Okay, so that goes all the way to there, and then this little bit here. Hmm. Figure out myself. I'm wondering what textures I can use and where from, since this will be a game in which I will make money. Yeah, totally. And Sai, if you're interested, I do have a Discord, and it's it's we can definitely have a quick chat, and I can run you through the process, the process that I use. But yeah, like I said, it's it's one of those use at your own risk. I want to say, it's not a risk, but yeah, and maybe that will give you kind of an idea on on it as well. Alistair, do you consult mentor? I mean, I consult, but or I wouldn't call it necessarily consult. I like to say that I help. So yeah, please do. I mean, it's that's why it's there, right? So, but um, but yeah, as far as the Discord is, people have reached out, and I can, I try to set up a quick, screen sharing meeting, and try to, guide folks as best as I can. Yeah, and I mean um it's not a customer thing. It's just I don't ask for money. It's if somebody gets some help out of it, that's even better. Oh, come on, these two meshes don't really seem to work out so well. Okay, there we go. And where's that post-process value? Here it is. I need to spread this out a little farther. Kind of like this. And that's a little too much. There we go. So as far as one thing that I wanted to share, I think I might have shown this in the past as well, when it comes to interior lighting. And there's a couple of settings that I've discovered in the post-process volume. And one of them is the diffuse color boost. And then the other one is the skylight leaking. So I try to adjust these. It's interesting, like this one, um, if you set it to, if you don't even check it, it kind of looks like this. But then if you actually check it, it helps a little bit with the way the skylight is shown inside here. So of course you can go to like a pretty big number and get results like this. But I found that this helps along with this color boost. I think that's what was the name of it? Yeah, diffuse color boost. So like it's pretty dark right now, right? And use carefully, don't overdo it, of course. I guess in 4 is like the top. Uh, but um, but yeah, that has helped quite a bit with the interior lighting. Yeah, excited. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm gonna go on for maybe another 20, 30 minutes. I try to keep these as at around a couple of hours. So yeah, and my pleasure. And like I said, if you want to get in touch, we can I can at least run you through my process. And like I said, we'll see if there's any tutorial that can come of it. But uh, but yeah, there's like I said, kit bashing. I'm not sure if it's too useful, but hopefully. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Yes. Okay. So there, that's kind of cool around there. And we can probably kind of try to play around with some of the exposure in here as well. This is a little too much. I'm always confused about these, like the min EV and max EV. I can never tell which values to use. It does boost everything, kind of the lighting in here. But that one also is, you can do it that with exposure compensation. But that looks a little bit more lit up inside, which is a little bit better. Which PPV setting category was the skylight leaking under? Good question. It's under actually the Lumen Global Illumination setting, which is down here. And also one thing that I've noticed from with the Lumen settings, increasing the quality of it, it doesn't seem to have too big of an impact on performance, if any. I didn't really notice much. So, just bumping these up to remove some of the noise that I think this one might have the biggest impact, but I think this other one, there's a couple of settings here that should help remove some of this noise that's in the scene if you notice too much of it. And the color bias is the diffuse color boost. So you can look at it like this, diffuse color boost, and that's also under the Lumen Global Illumination. So this one by default is set to 1, which, is still fine, but you can add a little more. Not sure. Yeah, I guess this one might introduce some noise into it. If it's at 0, I guess 0, you can't set it to 0. It's only set to 1 or something else. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. All right, and then we have the bathroom. Let's see if we can add, kind of cover some of this light coming through. There we go. And this also could place that. And let me see, where's that? There's like a single window that I need to use. And of course, these are all like messed up rotations. Or actually, there is no. My apologies. I guess there is no window there. This tile doesn't really look so good. I just don't have too many tiles. I need to probably find something, but that's, I guess, something that needs I need to get at some point. All right, let me add a couple of more of these. And let me see what we can find as far as what I have going on here for like a sink or anything like bathroom related stuff. Hmm, that's no useful. Huh. Well, I guess I'm gonna get to use some of the things that I've made some time ago after all. Yeah, oh yeah, you're right, Alistair. That's also a good point. They're way they seem really big. Let me see, where was that? Yeah, much better. Yeah, I mean they're not bad. No, definitely not. It's just I I'm I'm gonna look for some other things for some other ones as well. See what can be found. All right, so this wall here, I'm just gonna need to replace it with one of these pieces. And of course, they're not really matching very well because they're probably not on a grid. So this one is, just see about this piece. There. Okay, that's better. Though that's a really dark bathroom. I really don't like that. I'm gonna try and figure out something about this noise. As you can see, it's over here. I mean, of course, that goes away when you go to a higher level of detail, but I'd like to get rid of it. But yeah, this one is actually I think sink that I've made a while back, and it might still be on on the Sketchfab on Sketchfab. And I'll try and place a light over here. Oh, actually the base was this one. I couldn't find the base. I know I had a base made as well for this sink. Just couldn't seem to find it. Like that. That's a lot of light. Alright, that's slightly better. Oops, that's actually not the right stuff. Even though I thought it might have been. Okay, that's more like it. Just like a kind of a vanity type thing. Yeah, I can see now that this wall is still not where it should be. And we're looking at, this is on the Y. Oh, I guess this is something like this particular, like the wall that I um, uh, exported is, let me see, what was this on? That's here. It had its pivot right on this little corner, but the one from the original developer says this one seems to be a both two-sided wall, or I mean, yeah, it has it on like right in the middle, which also makes sense. So that's why they don't really lined up as easily as I was hoping. So let's see if we can kind of adjust it. Yeah, these are definitely not gonna be friends, apparently, which is unfortunate, but at least for now we'll make do. And this is a terrible little counter for the sink, but it works at least to place these here. And I think we want to do like a toilet and like a shower or something. Let's see, what do we have? Something that doesn't look like it came out right out of Home Depot, but unfortunately they all look very clean-ish. I think this one might do. Yeah, that looks like a regular regular usage. And let's see about the shower or something like a shower. Uh, bathtub maybe, like this. There we go. And let's close the room over here. And I'm gonna try something here just to add a little bit more variety. Hmm, this unfortunately is one of those really long sections of wall, so I'm gonna try something just to prototype this stuff first. It's nice to have these columns just to break things up. Because what I want to do is I want to put some tile on this. So this section here, instead of the stucco, I wanted to use some wall tiles in which I don't have. I'm wondering how would this look actually. Kind of like that. Though it looks, I don't know. See if I can find something else. Ah, mm, that's not really, that's not really it. Oh, that's a really hard thing to find in my project here. Let's see about this one. No. These are for the floor more than anything. Okay, I can kind of see this one. So I'll keep this for now, just to have something in here. And maybe do the same for this area here. So let's tighten these up together a little bit. This, and that. Okay, that's kind of started to look like a bathroom. Maybe we need to, that floor looks just a little too, I want to say flat, but I wanted to have some like hangers or something to break up the walls. like something like this maybe. I need to walk by with the player. Sometimes some of these meshes from the marketplace, they don't have some scalings are sometimes they seem off a little bit. Alistair, so like kind of like this, you thinking? And also it's kind of sometimes it's the naming. Let's see. Yeah, and I feel the same way, like I don't like uh things being like really tight or like um a lot of like unused floor space. Like I want to cover something up with here. Like let me see. Like a carpet or something like that. But I need to search through some of this stuff that I have for assets, like something like this to break it up a little bit. Um, Slide it back over, leave it rotated, and then put the toilet beside it on the back wall. Huh, yeah, let's see how that would look. Let me pull this back here a little bit, maybe. And then this one, like this. Uh, I kind of like this, you know? I mean, it's just, um, playing around with some of this stuff, seeing what works. Yeah, for now I'll see, I'll use it like this and see if I'm trying to see if I can find anything else for like the bathroom assets that I'm using in other locations as well. So, trying to reuse some of this stuff. But that's the main thing, trying to find something that works in kind of like just a bathroom mat over here. Well, I can't seem to place this one properly on this top there. But it's starting to look okay-ish. I think adding this light here definitely helps with some of the um, noise. If this was off, I mean, it still wouldn't be necessarily bad, but Yeah, I think I like it better with it on. Okay, but from nothing to something, it kind of turned out okay. The reflections seem to work decently without too much noise. There is some like this is see like around here around these windows. There is some of this kind of shimmering happening. I'm gonna save this and before before I end the stream, let's jump into game mode and I'll try and bring the player around and see how things look from the player perspective. And yeah, look at this. This time it loaded the player properly and didn't fall through the floor. So, all right, it looks pretty good in here though. I'm not sure why this light seemed to be a little bit brighter out of game mode than it is in game mode. Yeah, and see this here, this shimmer is I need to figure out a way around that. Yeah, I think the shimmer is from Lumen. Let me see if I was uh, to turn that off, and that's that's probably from the ambient occlusion or something, or the lack of reflection captures, which I might need to add. It looks like, but the constant Unreal Engine twinkling, yeah. And you know, in the end, it's a matter of you know, like I'm actually wondering if it's like the effects that should be cinematic or the lighting. I think it might be the lighting. So yeah, you know, setting the lighting to cinematic, that reduced quite a lot, but still when you move the camera around, it's still, you know, like not perfect. You can see it. So I'm gonna try and do some attempts at what would fix that. It sometimes is also tied to like the roughness of materials I've noticed in some cases. But yeah, I'll see what can be done to avoid it. I mean, the lighting down here looks pretty nice with Lumen, you know, like it's dark in the hallway and stuff, right? But in here is like when it's something that's fully lit, it's you know, it can get noisy, especially when you're not like on where was it? Where did I set it? So even with like, yeah, see, there's that kind of shimmer, which I'm gonna have to do some digging because now we actually have a scene, like a usable scene, and that I can you know, try to experiment with and see exactly what's what going on there. Well, I mean, you can always use baked lighting, but I'm not very, or I'm actually not familiar with baked lighting at all. So that's that's on me. But that's the thing. That's what I'm gonna try and do some digging into and see if I can if I can figure something out to reduce that noise and this kind of shimmer. But I'm assuming a lot of it, and you know what? Let me try something real quick. A lot of it could probably be controlled through the post-process volume, and let me take a quick look at this post-process volume here. I'm wondering if I just remove it and just rely on the kind of the sky blueprint uh, lighting. So this is kind of how it looks without that post-process volume. And with it, I think it's definitely better with it because you want to have some light inside, but maybe pushing maybe that uh, that diffuse color boost and the light leaking could also might be affecting that. Oh, actually, I think it actually made it worse. And it can only go to 4. Oh, let me think about this. I have considered switching to Unigine or CryEngine due to that twinkling tin tin nonsense. Yeah, I mean definitely. I come from CryEngine, so I've switched from CryEngine to Unreal because I realized that you know some niceties around rendering, and this is back a while, like 2013 when I first started with the game development thing. And at that point, I looked at CryEngine and I looked at Unreal, and CryEngine looked better, but it's not so much the case, I guess. So Miles, do you know how I can put a mask on the light for night vision? Huh. We'd have to talk about that to kind of, kind of clear that out for me. Yeah, there's still some. Let me take another look at the skylight leaking. If I set this to 0 and this one to 1,000, there's still the shimmer there. Well, yeah, and I mean, in the end, it's what do you use? What do you want to use the engine for? If it's for game development, I think Unreal Engine is the easiest one to use. You got to think of like the community, like how many people can you think at one point that you can ask something about uh, Unreal, like an issue they have with Unreal, versus how many people you can ask for an issue that you're having with CryEngine. And I'm willing to bet that there's probably a little bit more people with Unreal, which unfortunately that's the fact. That's a fact, you know. And okay, yeah, it's. I'm gonna do some investigating into this to see if I can get anything that might make this a little bit better and kind of look it up online. I have a few friends that I can ask some things about it that maybe they have some ideas. It's not it's not too strong, I would say, but it's not something pleasant either. I think in the end, what comes down to is a lot of it is placement of the light. So especially when in my case, since I only have like a directional light. I'm wondering if this one in a different position might not be causing as much trouble as it did, you know? Because like here, there is no light, so I think it tries to bounce it all around a little too much. So see, like this one, this position seems to have helped a little bit with the noise. It's not doesn't seem to be as bad as before. Now, when you go to kind of like a sunset time of day, let's see, this one relies a lot on the skylight. So let's see if we can get some lighting in here. You know, like this, that there's not a lot of, I mean, there is still some, but not, nah, there is still quite a few. So I'll try and do I'll try and see if I can find anything as far as just helping with some of this noise. Yeah, that's the IA scatter. I use it a lot. I use it for like you know, tire tracks. I use it for let's see what else. You know, the regular scatter tools, scatter items. The how you recognize the hexagons? Yeah, I love this tool. You know, so all right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for me for today, guys. Thank you everyone so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you on the next stream. So there won't be one next week because you know there's like Thanksgiving over here, so there's gonna be some get-togethers and some food. But I'll see everyone in a couple of weeks. If you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving, hopefully you have a good one. If you're not, hopefully you have a great, you know, uh, 2 weeks coming up, and I'll see you then. Thank you all so much for stopping by. All right, take care, everybody.